in, guys. Welcome in. Today, I wanted to just chat a little bit about the StarRail 4.0 stuff that has been going around. There's been lots of interesting developments with regards to the new region, our next planet in StarRail that's upcoming. You know, the 3.8 live stream is delaying. Oh my god, I cannot speak. The 3.8 update is being delayed. There's some like political tensions causing a lot of changes in the upcoming region. And yeah, I just wanted to chat about it a bit because I feel like there's lots to talk about, and I don't know, I wanted to start doing more of the chatting videos again. I know I said I was going to do more and then I stopped doing them, so this is me doing them again. So here we are. But yeah, I don't really know how to start this without being awkward, but so okay, let's talk about it. Context for those of you who don't know is that StarRail, Honkai Star Rail. We just finished the 3.x region, Amphorius. It was a absolute cinema fest. I have cried so many times throughout the journey. I personally think Amphorius is the best story that StarRail has given us so far. Yes, it had ups and downs for sure. It wasn't perfect. No, it wasn't close to perfect. But I think overall, the storyline and the writing as a whole and that plot itself was very, very solid. And it's also the first region where they made me genuinely so invested in every single character, every single Chrysos heir. I am just like, my entire heart, I would sell my soul for them. So yeah, I think they did a really good job there. And I've been really looking forward to the 4.0 region, but alas, some political tensions have arisen in the past few months with regards to the situation between Japan and China. I'm not going to get into that, but all you need to know is that the two governments are not on good standings with one another right now. So I think what happened was essentially the Chinese government has banned all Japanese related medias in their games now. So that poses a problem because the next region we were supposed to go to in StarRail 4.0 was Edo Star, which is the futuristic Neo-Japan region. So, I think it's been a little bit worrisome about what they're gonna do, because for everyone who, has been playing video games for any amount of time, I feel like most of us know that development cycles for games, especially live service games, usually happen like many months to a year in advance. So they have been working on the Edo Star region for a very long time, the 4.0 region. And now, essentially 2 months before it's supposed to be released, they have to kind of scrap the entire thing. So like, what the hell is gonna happen? I think I am of a very general opinion that many people probably agree with me. With that, I think a lot of people are worried. A lot of StarRail fans right now are very worried about what's gonna happen in the new region. I personally thought, I had some guesses for what they might do for trying to change it. I thought that they might just still do the Edo Star region, but then essentially reskin it. Just reskin the Edo Star region and just kind of lynch out, cut out and replace parts of it that were super heavily inspired by very specific cultural references, and then maybe that was going to be the band-aid solution. That's what I was pretty certain that they were going to do. I also thought that maybe, obviously they are extending the 3.8 patch so that they have an extra 4 weeks to work on it, but that's still not enough time for them to remake an entire new region, right? So I was also speculating that maybe after 3.8 we might have a 3.9 where they might kind of take a possible work and development interlude story, like maybe going back to the Lawfu, since they were setting up the Lawfu story for a while, and then maybe we would be able to have that kind of pushed in between the release of 4.0 so that they would have even more time to try to work on their solution for replacing Edo Star. And I mean, I guess I was wrong on both accounts because they have posted a teaser for 4.x recently. So yeah, 2 days ago, StarRail posted a version 3.8 delay compensation. And it is as follows. Hello, Trailblazers. We sincerely apologize for the poor experience and inconvenience caused by the extension of version 3.8. The Express crew will issue Stellar Jade times 1000 and Fuel times 10 to every Trailblazer who has unlocked the mail feature after 2025-1208. Currently, the Express crew is constantly working on version 4.0's game content. As such, we have extended the duration of version 3.8 in hopes to give Trailblazers a better experience in the next world, Planarcadia. So, and then they posted a few images, which we will take a look at in a second. So, I mean, first of all, yeah, so they're just like basically apologizing, giving a little bit of compensation for the next region. Personally, I can't say I'm that surprised, but also I will never understand why they can't just give a 10 pull. I'll never understand why they can't just give like a full 10 pull in these situations. They always give less. I know Zenless did that recently. They gave like so little compensation. And then in this case, I feel like, you know, delaying 3.8 by 4 weeks, doubling the patch essentially, is valid grounds to give at least one 10 pull. I know they give fuel as well, but like, guys, let's be real, okay? Most people care about the Stellar Jades, so yeah, they gave a little bit of compensation, and then Planarcadia is essentially, they have confirmed that, yeah, Planarcadia is the next region, and it is elation! It is elation, guys! I think they are very on the nose here. Aha is in front of us. And we see some silhouettes, so this is pretty cool, pretty cool. I'll go through and we'll take a look at the rest of these silhouettes after, but yeah, so we're taking a look at, this is more elation, just showing us a cool little screenshot of a arcade-like stage. Arcade-like stage is what this looks like. We have the pixelated clouds / platforms in the background. It looks like we are on some metal bleachers. Not bleachers. It's like, you know, on top of a stage, you have all those metal, the metal walkways for people to do all the lighting and things like that. It kind of looks like we're on that right now. We have the spotlights. Very cool. And then we have a image of what looks to be like a theme park. Bellabog. A Bellabog theme park. So, pretty interesting. I will admit I am quite surprised by this because, like I said, I kind of expected them to just do, you know, Edo Star but reskin it. So I am a little surprised that this doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere necessarily, because they have been kind of building up the elation itself, but the aesthetic itself just caught me a bit off guard. So, and it does kind of feel a little bit like, obviously they are maybe taking something that was work in development prior. I mean, this kind of seems like it could have been an event, or this could have been like a side story maybe that they were planning on doing sometime like during Edo Star mayhaps, and then they're just essentially kind of like trying to make it into like a bigger thing. I'm not too sure. I'll definitely have to see more. Just this screenshot in general just kind of looks like an event to me, is essentially what I mean. Since it does have a lot of the Bellabog aesthetic, and I mean, literally, Cocolia is right here. We have a balloon Cocolia. We have a pom-pom in the background. So, yeah, pom-pom land. I'm still a little worried, personally. It's smart of them to show this teaser. It's smart of them to give us a teaser immediately. Try to like appease fans and let us know that, listen, okay, the transparency is that this is like the next region we're aiming to do now. So this is what you can kind of start to think about expecting. Maybe this is the reskin, actually, because I remember Sparkle, because please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but from what I recall, Sparkle is from Edo Star, right? Well, because our Sparkle and Rappa both from Edo Star, I think they're both from Edo Star, because that's how they teased it in the past. So then we were supposed to go to Edo Star, and then Sparkle and, you know, an assembled crew obviously would lead us in the next part of the story. It kind of seems like maybe they are still sticking to the original story. Obviously, they will write out the specific cultural references, I'm sure, but then maybe trying to find another solution for the aesthetic of it, i.e. doing the theme park, the Planarcadia aesthetic, the Bellabog aesthetic. Maybe because we have this Bellabog theme park, we might go through various regions, right? Maybe we'll have a theme park version of the other regions we've been to. Maybe we'll have a theme park version of the Lafu, the Penacony, Amphorius, or what Amphorius was supposed to be before we discovered that it wasn't actually existing, and now it's just a birth star. But you know, that's not the point. So that would be pretty interesting if we can see an altered version of the different planets, or if they're going for something completely different as well, and then they're just kind of leading into it with showing us a little bit of Bellabog, that to kind of like as a red herring, you know, because sometimes, especially with the elation, you know, they're a bunch of trolls, so they're just goofing around trying to trick us into various things, all for the fun of the game. So Sample and Sparkle spoke about something happening in Bellabog back in her companion quest in 2.0, so I think the Bellabog amusement park is a callback to that moment. Yeah, mayhaps. And this could also be something like a dream bubble too, right? Obviously it might not be a dream bubble specifically, but the equivalent of a dream bubble in Planarcadia, where we get to see some of the references to Sampo. I mean, actually, Who knows? Maybe we'll get to see Sampo in the future. But yeah, well, firstly, let's take a look at the characters first, because we see some silhouettes over here. Very cool. I think on the very left, very obviously, this is Sparkle. This is interesting. Okay, this is interesting because there are some familiar characters in this list. So now this makes me wonder, are we getting a second version of all of these characters, kind of like Dan Heng? Because so far, we've gotten multiple versions of Dan Heng, we've gotten multiple versions of March, you know, both Trailblaze Express crew members, but I think there are some silhouettes here that are really obviously characters that we have already met before, so maybe this is them really starting to lean into having more XPs in the future of Star Rail. So yeah, we have Sparkle on the left. I'm not too sure about who this second character is. The third one looks like Blade. This looks a lot like Blade. The fourth one, I'm also not too sure. The fifth one is Silverwolf. This looks like Silverwolf. The sixth one, I at first thought this looked like Fei Xiao, actually, because of the ears and then the short hair. Even though I know Fei Xiao doesn't have short hair necessarily, but the silhouette's kind of similar. But everyone's saying it's Yae Miko, so that'll be really interesting. So yeah, I mean, do you guys have any guesses for who the second and fourth characters are? I don't have any Honkai third knowledge, so I don't know what other characters they might resemble. Second one is 90% Himiko. Really? You think? Wait, if this is Himiko, then what if this is Welt, guys? What if we're actually just getting XPs of Himiko and Welt? Because of the Trailblaze Express crew, like the original crew, Himiko and Welt have not gotten their XPs yet. And then I know Trailblazer also hasn't, because, you know, we're Trailblazer, we're the main character, so it makes sense that we wouldn't necessarily, apart from our path changes. And then Sunday is a very new member, and he's more just like traveling alongside us right now, right? Sampo, I was thinking, yeah, maybe this could also be Sampo as well, because I've been really looking forward to seeing a possible 5-star Sampo in the future. I saw people saying Boot Hill, Cowboy Dude. Yeah, this also does bear some similarities to Boot Hill because of the hat. I also at first thought the hat kind of looked like Adventurine as well, but I don't think it's Adventurine. So, but it is hard to tell because the silhouette is a lot more vague because of the hair. Yeah, I am very curious to see what the aesthetic is going to be like though, especially because it kind of looks a bit more, if anything, this actually reminds me, the aesthetic of Aha and everything does remind me quite a bit of Penacony. And the whole festival, the whole dreams, the kind of whimsical, but also slightly odd aesthetic, if that makes sense. Super happy to see characters with previously non-existent screen time in the main story finally have their moment. Silverwolf in particular has only shown up in Penacony once or twice, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, I do like that. The fact that they have some of the Stellaron hunters here, specifically Silverwolf, and who I'm assuming to be Blade. Like, the Blade one is still up in the air, but I think this is 100% Silverwolf. It is really nice because, yeah, like you said, being able to have them actually develop characters that have already existed in the game, who might not have had that chance to shine, and build on them further in the story, always makes me super happy. I really love it when any games do that. You know, as the game continues down its cycle, usually it improves in its writing and its storytelling, so being able to revamp older characters who might have been written in a time or like at a point in the game where it might not have been as well balanced for the character arcs and who gets the spotlight is really neat because it offers a new side to them. La Mancha is the Galaxy Ranger leader also. Oh, true. Okay. Yeah, I remember that entity, the leader, but I forgot his name. So, okay, I got you. Also, Age, there's a brief paragraph on the Hoyulab post on what this planet's about. Ooh, okay, let me see. Okay, the threat of destruction compelled the cosmos to unite once again, and everyone now looks toward other eons involved. The Express once crashed into and departed from Planarcadia. There, Aha graced the pursuers of elation with a reward. Join their game and become an eon for a minute. Oh, wait, what does that? Become an eon for a minute? Do you think that means Aha is literally bestowing power upon them for a brief moment so that they can kind of feel that power? Or do you think it's a metaphor for having that kind of power? Or I never know with Aha. Cause literally Aha's motivations are Lamau XD. so I can never tell what Aha is trying to do. Aha once gave a worm emanator powers. Aha is living its best life, okay? They're living their best life. And I do love Aha quite a bit as an Eon because of all of the Eons we have met. You know, Aha seems kind of like they're just vibing. They're just stirring up some trouble here and there, nothing too serious. I think this is definitely not referring to making emanators though. This is something that's specifically happening on Planarcadia, where Aha essentially has a mini game going on, and then whoever wins the mini game, Aha will be like, you know what? I like you. I like you. So I'm gonna let you have some fun here. And I'm sure winning that mini game is not going to be an easy task. And you'll definitely have to prove yourself in multiple ways to Aha that you are worthy of being a follower of the Elation. Become an Eon for a minute, we can be Aha and grab all the Jades this patch. Yeah, maybe that's why, guys. Maybe that's why they're only giving 1k, because in order to get the extra 600, you have to win. You have to win the game and grab it for yourself with your Eon powers. Yeah, I wonder what the threat will be on this planet. I don't know. I think based on the fact that Aha is Elation, I think that the threat will be a lot more personal to each individual who comes to this planet. Like, it'll be some sort of play on each person's memories or experiences, and maybe what's in their heart, essentially, their motivations, things like that. I know that's very vague, but I don't know how to describe it. Just because Aha is all about laughing, right? Aha is all about kind of being that jester that exists in the universe that doesn't really have any alignments and is just kind of there to stir up trouble, create some chaos, and have fun. And then usually, you know, the people who are kind of like that, they're chaotic neutral, if that makes sense. If we're putting Aha on alignment chart, I would say Aha is chaotic neutral. So then usually when it comes to chaotic neutral alignments in stories, the reason they end up being chaotic while being neutral is because there is some sort of trauma, insecurity, problem that exists that they are essentially trying to compartmentalize. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking of like very specific stories here, and then you guys might have a different interpretation for me. I feel like the threat, the quote-unquote threat that exists here, will not be the same as, let's say, you know, fighting off the destruction, trying to deal with immortality or things like that. But more so, each person who comes here kind of has their threat is themselves. I think that would be an interesting way to deal with the next region. And the thing is, I think at the end of the day, they will have an outside threat also come to Planarcadia as well. So while this is Aha's domain, I'm sure there will be some Eon, maybe the destruction, maybe some other Lord Ravager. Does Aha has a Lord Ravager as well, right? There is a Lord Ravager that is against the path of Elation. I'm pretty sure every path has one, right? Assad Pramad is against Elation. Yeah, so then maybe, you know, it'll end up being Assad Pramad comes and tries to f shit up, you know? At the end of the day, you know, Nanook and Destruction is the overarching villain or the overarching antagonist of the Starrail storyline. I don't know. It's lots of things to think about. Lots of things to think about. I forgot Assad Pramad. He's the headless daddy. How is he a daddy if he doesn't have a head? Either way, I am very curious to see how they're going to handle this. At the end of the day, we probably will feel the effects of at least the first few patches of the 4.x update being a little bit hodgepodgey and rushed, most likely. That is kind of inevitable if they have to scrap the entire other kind of planet. Even if they try to like supplant the story into a new planet or new region, it's still going to be pretty tough for them to do that exactly, especially if the story was written for a completely different aesthetic and culture, right? So I just hope that they can hodgepodge something together that is still cohesive and able to at least set up the latter parts of it well. That is my guess how the beginning of 4.x will probably feel. I think that's a pretty realistic expectation. You know, I usually try to like weather my expectations. I don't want to, you know, be I am hopeful for sure, but I am also realistic about how I think it's gonna go. So I would love to be surprised. Cannot wait to see more teasers. Hopefully they will give us more teasers later about 4.x and everything that's going on. This one obviously is just a very, very quick, okay, we're gonna give you a very like vague little teaser so that you guys can have some things to talk about that are not just the possible worries, right? Because I mean, even just posting this is already a very good idea because, again, it's about the kind of transparency with the player base, right? The more the devs communicate with us about what they plan on doing, especially in times like this, which are kind of unexpected with regards to the game, then the more at ease. I think we can feel that they are trying their best to still have a very solid direction to head towards for everything. And I feel like they're going to make it aesthetically more cyberpunky, which could be subtly Japanese inspired, but not really. Oh, you mean for Planarcadia, or do you mean for Ito Star? I don't know. I feel like Planarcadia seems like the type of region that would be split up into various mini regions, if that makes sense. Like this Bellabog area is probably going to be one like sub area of Planarcadia, and then each area in Planarcadia might have a completely different aesthetic from one another. Who knows? Which might be like either like a good thing or a bad thing, I guess, for the dev team. But I do feel like there will be other parts of the region that are going to be completely different aesthetically from this initial screenshot that we're getting here, which is more Bellabog themed. And I think that they're just showing us this first because this is like, okay, this is like the starting place, and we're trying to figure out how we can really solidify the rest of it right now. So take this and let us try to cook. I'm worried Hoyo is rushing a bit too much. Yeah, but they have no choice in this particular situation, so they definitely will be rushing. They will be rushing for sure, but in this particular case, it's not really their fault. So I think as a Star Rail player and enjoyer of the game, I will be probably quite forgiving and a lot more understanding with regards to the first parts of Planarcadia and 4.x due to all of this, you know, context that the devs have to go through. Hopefully they can still, you know, deliver something that's pretty solid and something that can at least set up a nice second half of the region, whether that is them essentially revamping their initial story or trying to write something kind of completely new. I guess we'll see. I can already imagine the Star Rail devs having the Mappa Studio artist type of eye bags because of this deadline. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation. It's just it's completely out of the devs' control, right? So definitely sucks, and lots of people will be working overtime, but hopefully they're, you know, still able to get proper rest, not push themselves too hard. Because I think for all of the Star Rail fans, most of us will be able to understand that this is a very tough situation. They're doing their best. Yes, they have definitely dropped the ball before. Like, again, okay, the Fate collab, no excuses. I think that the Fate collab is single-handedly the most poorly handled story, event, collaboration thing. Just thing in general that the Star Rail devs have ever dealt with. That was so poorly done, there are no excuses for them handling it that poorly. But this is not the Fate collab situation. I will be a lot more understanding in this particular case for when 4.x comes out. So I don't want to yap for too long about this particular thing. So if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by liking and subscribing. If you didn't, then you know what to do as well. Do leave a comment down below though, letting me know your guys' thoughts about this entire situation, because it is a very big discussion topic at the moment, especially within the Star Rail community and the gacha community as a whole. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any guesses for what they might do with the upcoming stuff? Or also, do you guys have any particular guesses for maybe like who these characters might be? Or yeah, just like what do you guys think is going to happen in the story? Let me know in the comments, and also join the Discord server if you want to come chat, hang out, have a good time. And apart from that, thanks so much for watching YouTube. Take care, and let's chat more next time. Bye-bye.